We're about to sit on the swing. We've got birds singing everywhere in the trees. I love this place. It's so awesome. But yeah, as a gamer kid, often I missed the value of a really gross, yucky swing. No, my family does not take care of their stuff very well. And they don't buy new stuff for years and years and years. But I love them for who they are. And, you know, I spend a lot of time cleaning up the yard and getting in trouble for cleaning up the yard because they don't like to change things. They like things the way that they are. So when we're facing a lot of stuff out there right now,
Happy fun!
you know, there's a lot of old people who just don't like change, and they would rather see the car just be flipped upside down instead of being put somewhere practical, useful, that somebody else can use it and enjoy it and make use of it. The swing, you know, sure, it's dirty, but it's still very practical. There's lots of things that they do have that are very practical. And but there's a lot of habits that are not very useful or serving. Like right now I'm making a video and my loving father does not realize that I'm making a video, so he's trying to talk to me. And it's okay, because this usually happens. Every time I try to record, there's some interruption. I try to explain what I'm doing. They don't want to hear what I have to say about what I'm doing. So I end up recording, and then we end up getting in a fight, and it ends up on the recording, and it's like, oh, I can't post this online. And this is how it's been with my kids, too. Where it's like, well, I don't need my kids having a tantrum, freaking out on the video. But that's the reality of it. Reality is messy. It's not super happy, snappy, and if it is, it's because you're able to better change the conditions of the environment you're in because you can afford it. So you are so funny, my little Scooby. You make the best of what you have. Nobody is perfect. And that's what drives a lot of us nuts, is because we beat ourselves up for not being perfect. We're just like, what's wrong with me? You know? But sometimes from living in a state of this, you end up growing this whole new part that heals these missing pieces in your own life, in your own family. Like, you know what? I want to make this project to make new coverings for this because I do sewing. And there's a lot of things that I should be sewing that because I'm just stuck in this new environment that stresses me out and takes a lot of my energy and focus just to kind of coexist with, instead of being able to do that because I'm, you know, you have so much emotional stability. If you run out of your mana, it's hard to stay positive. It's so easy just to need some me time to recharge. And it's impossible for some of us to get that with how fast-paced our society is. And that's what's making a lot of people sick. A lot of people who are working really hard. Your shoe fell off. Okay, I gotta fix my daughter's shoe here while I'm making this recording. There you go. Your shoe is back on, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mama, I want to do a button on.
They're all buttoned. All good. But there's something so wrong with the state of the world and the fact that we all work so hard to try to support our families, even if other people don't appreciate the work we do, even if our kids are too young to understand the exchange and all they want to do is enjoy time with us. You know, I think that's such a big part of what's wrong with the world, is you have this disconnection between adults and children because we have to live in the opposite spectrum of perception. We can't remember what it was like to be... You're having fun on the swing lying down. You're so silly. Just as long as you're safe, okay? Yeah, I know. You're actually... This is a really comfy swing to kind of lay down and relax on. But, yeah. So I guess that's what we want to say with the changing weather, with the beautiful birds kind of squawking at me, being like, this is not normal. Human, please care about us. Why do none of you care about us? Just because we cannot speak your language. You know, and they're getting really pissed off because their migratory patterns are all out of whack. Think about the dolphins and all these other animals we're finding up our coastline. We're like, you don't normally come here. Why are you guys here? I'm so confused. All of these things are actually happening. Like, it's not out of a storybook. It's like, no, this is happening. These birds are like trying to communicate to us, and we're just like, stupid bird, stop pooping on my car. I just washed it. Like, you know. Yes. The birds are all like going nuts as I'm saying. This is so weird. I love this. I should have recorded because there's like a whole bunch of awesome birds that just flew over, and I'm just sitting here focused on the talking, not so much on the video part, because I'm watching my daughter and I'm trying to make sure she doesn't roll off onto the floor. This is why I just have such a hard time to do my work at all. And I think this is a normal part of reality, that if you're a busy working parent, right now in your own life, there's probably so much going on that you're just trying to balance. And all this other crazy stuff going on in the world, you ain't got time for that. You're just trying to stay sane. Holy fuck, does nobody see how hard you're working? I see how hard you're working, sweethearts. I see how hard you are working. And that's why I've been doing this work, because I don't want you to feel like shit every day. I don't want you to get sick and die. I don't want to watch your children crying about why they don't have a mom or a dad anymore, because there's a lot of people who keep getting sick. And I don't want anybody to be sick because they don't know that there's people putting fucking shit in their food that shouldn't be there. I'm here for you. And I'm going to be extra brave. And pardon my life if it's not perfect. It's okay that it's not perfect. My life has been what a lot of people would say upside down. If they went through it, they would be probably very depressed. And I was. And still experience depression now in periods of time, but it is nothing at all, thanks to Jesus Christ. Like, no kidding. And I know a lot of people might get angry at me for saying that. But you can come out of a really depressing childhood and you can be really happy. Ooh, what's up? Because of this soul that is actually there, like legit. He's all the birds, he's all the trees, he's all the plants, he's all the bees, he's the kids, he's the air, he's the sun, you know. And together we have this beautiful planet, Mother Earth, the water, the land, that if you grow from it, like the womb of a woman creates this life. You could be born to craziness and see this beauty and finally find that it's the moments we spend together. Out there, do you see all the pretty birds flying in the trees? I don't want to be like, oh, big truck. Oh no, it makes you spooked. You don't like big noises? Yes. Again, just to remember what it was like to be that little kid trying to experience life, and your parents are dealing with so much and you have such a hard time to make sense of it all because you're getting told all the bad stuff but never the good stuff. And those who do get the good stuff, I mean, I'm really grateful that you guys have gotten to live the good stuff. But I hope you remember that not everybody had a good life, and that what you see as your normal to other people might be a fantasy, you know? But for these birds, you know, all they really want is to have land that they can fly in. We spray crap we really don't need all over everything. And what is that doing for the people's health? Again, people working so hard just to pay the bills, just to take care of their children. And then their children want to connect with them, but often, you know, again, it's hard to connect. Especially when you feel depressed and all you want to do is look at adult content. If you're a man, for example, that's a big thing facing society right now because of the internet, because of the connection that we have, the ability to just easily just turn on a computer and done. So that is all I have to say. And speaking of which, I need to talk about that as well, because I am dealing with a young child who loves video games, who loves the internet, but there is a lot of content out there that is not at all appropriate. These opinions out there are not at all accurate. They're dangerous thoughts that these children who might not have parents that are that focused on them are picking up from, who are thinking, okay, well, this somebody must have a valid opinion, right? Who is it? We don't know. There's more bots than anything. We are allowing people who are saying that they're messing with minds, and they're messing with these children. They're presenting them fictitious ideology, like that whole, like, I don't know who it was, but saying all these things that happened to all these families in the States were just not real, that they were fiction. I mean, could you imagine having to go through that and having somebody say, oh, that's not real, it's a government conspiracy? Like, sometimes, who knows? I don't know. I can't say that it's not situations where that could occur. I don't know. But for somebody to have actually gone through that, you gotta imagine how difficult that would be to hear people say when all you want is just to hold your baby's hand, you know? There's a lot of people hurting out there right now. And people who are abusing people's hurt to manipulate them, be them young people or old people, just to get votes, just so they get in power. Like, it's not even honesty, it's just, I want money, I like this, I don't care if it hurts people, I don't care if people get cancer, I don't care if we heal these people who have cancer. And out there are children crying. God, why would you ever let this happen? God, why do I exist just to suffer? What is the purpose that I would come here? And a lot of old people don't even care about it at this point. You have those who have this, cult-like mentality. Well, if I accept this, then this means that this happens, so you gotta believe what I believe or you're going to hell. And you have, again, these children who just want to know, who is God? God, why would you do this to me? Why would you make this life so sad? And we don't realize that we're all pieces of this. We don't realize that in our own life, how we treat one another, it has an effect. How others treat us, it has an effect. And it doesn't mean that we're horrible people because we made mistakes in our lives. Yes, we can continue to be horrible people if we continue to make these broken parts of ourselves that we're substituting our lack of love from. That's why a lot of these things happen, is it's trying to find love and acceptance and realizing that the only love and acceptance you're ever going to find is from God, and God exists within you. And if you connect to that love of that God part of you, and you want to be the best you can be because you want to do what's right, because you want to look at the end of the day and say, I feel grateful that I did this work. It freaking sucked. It was lots of work and it was a lot of pain. But I'm proud that this is something that I'm forging, that I can hand to my children and teach to my children. Someday we can have this. But it is so cold right now. It's freezing here. And like my plants are like, what's going on? This is not normal. I mean, they're fortunately going to evolve from this. So this is cool. Like this is how real genetic modification works. By the way, I have a baby who decided to snuggle with me. Oh, you're keeping me warm? Are you ready for a nap?
Yeah.
Okay. We gotta go for a nap. Nap. But these plants are gonna actually get used to this hot-cold exchange. And these are gonna be some real hardy plants in like a few generations if this keeps up. So this is how it's supposed to work, not us in a lab being like, oh, I figured out how this is built, so I'm gonna like see what happens if I fuse this and this. Again, all those movies that we watched about mad science, let's just ignore them. All of this was here to warn us about potentials. All of this is potentially actuality. It doesn't mean go create this reality. It means let's avoid the scenario, because could you imagine how effing horrible living in that would feel? Empathy receptors, we have them. And as kids, we could all actually feel for each other. But now you have corporations who treat their employees like garbage. Disposable, replaceable garbage, kind of like you see some cabinets blowing around. Still just get somebody new. It doesn't matter. Just some guy who doesn't know really what's going on but doesn't mind handling the mess and gets paid really well. Yeah, they're okay. Just a Corey and a Trevor. But, you know, if you're messing with the weather, that's not cool. Because I know they've been talking about doing that since the Vietnam War. So I hope that if that is a power somebody might possess, that they will not abuse this, that you can instead use it to help your people in a time of need. But for these children, you know, and for all of us working to make a living, to teach our children to be good people, to, you know, give back. Jesus has gone through enough suffering, hasn't he? Can we please stop hurting him? Every time there's an emergency, he's there with us because he works with us. Please set him free of this pain. Look at this, stepping over it. There we go. All right, thanks for the video. I gotta go put a nap, and I hope whatever you're doing it with lots of love. And if it's not making you feel alive, like you feel really sick, like I have this fellow here, every time I see a blue jay, I think of him. And he worked for us so endlessly. And one day he just didn't wake up. And it makes me so sad that you shouldn't just be a passing memory. You shouldn't just be some prejudice people had and said, okay, well, because you're big like this, then maybe that's what caused it. All of these factors, stress is the leading known cause of illness. Yet we continue to allow it to be just so okay. I want you to feel better. I don't want you to suffer, but other people imposing this rule on you and you needing to pay your bills, that's what's doing it. Humans are doing it, not God. I love you. And I'm here with you for your kids. And you.